Hello grade 10s. Today we are going to continue on with the slope-intercept form of linear functions. So I'd just like to remind you from yesterday what that means. You can use this to fill in the blanks of your handout that we started last day. So remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. The m represents the slope and the b represents the y-intercept. Please pause the video here to catch up on those notes. So let's take a look at what this means. So here we have some mini carts. I'm telling you that the equation for the mini carts is y equals 3x plus 10. So what does the 3 represent? What does the 10 represent? Take a minute to think about that. So when you're looking at this, the 10 would be the bucket of the first cart, and the 3 would be the handlebars, because when you put them together, you should notice that there is some extra each time from the handlebars of pushing a new cart in. So again, the bucket would be 10 centimeters, and then the handlebars from pushing it in would be 3 more each time. So it would just continue on adding on 3 every time you put a new cart in. So we said if Thomas puts 10 carts in, how long would the row of carts be? So 10, that's going to be my number of carts. So we're going to let that represent x. So we get y equals 3 times 10, and then plus the extra 10 from the first cart, from the front of the first cart. So 3 times 10 is 30, plus another 10 would give us 40. So this row of 10 carts would be 40 centimeters long. Now remember that these are just mini carts, like these are little toys. Now for the next question, it says the row of mini carts was 76 centimeters long. How many carts are there? So now we're looking for x and we're given y. So this time we're going to plug in 76 in the y position, and we get 3 times x plus 10. We're going to start by subtracting the 10 over. So when we subtract the 10 from the other side, we get 66 equals 3x. And then remember, to move the 3, you have to do the opposite. So we'll divide it to the other side. So you'll divide by 3. That means that x equals 22 carts. So 22 carts would be 76 centimeters long. Now this is just one example of a word problem that you're going to see as we finish off our section today on slope-intercept form. Let's continue on then to example 3 in your notes. Here we're asked to write an equation to describe the function. So when we write an equation, the equation is going to be mx plus b, which means I need the slope, the m, and I need the y-intercept, the b. So when I look at this graph, I see that it has a y-intercept down here at -4. So I'm going to put a -4 in for b, and then my slope, when I count my rise over run, I'm just going to take another nice point here. I see that I go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2. So that means my slope is -3 over 2. So when we put it into y-intercept form, it would look like this. Y equals -3 over 2x subtract 4. Now the next part of the question says verify. So to verify that this is correct, what you need to do is take a point somewhere on your line and plug it in to see if both sides are equal. So when I'm looking here, we can use any nice point that we have. I'm seeing that there's a nice point here, which would be at -4 and +2. So why don't we try that one? So we're going to plug in -4 for x and +2 for y. Now when we're doing this, sometimes the fractions can get confusing. So remember that multiplying by a -4 is like multiplying by a -4 over 1. So -3 times -4 is going to be +12 divided by 2, because you go top times top and then bottom times bottom. So 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 6 subtract 4 equals 2. So 2 does equal 2, which means that yes, this equation is correct. So please take a moment to try this one on your own. You're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to write an equation and then verify it afterwards. You could pause the video now, work through this problem, and then press play to see the solution. So you should have got the equation y equals 2x minus 3, and then when you verify, you can pick any point. So your verification might not look exactly like mine. I used the point 2 and 1. You could have used any point. That was nice and on the line. So maybe 3 and 3, maybe 1 and negative 1, or 0 and negative 3. Any of those would have worked. All right, now let's try a word problem. So this is also in your notes. It says that there was an SRC sponsored dance. A ticket cost $5 and the cost for the DJ was $300. We're going to write an equation for the profit compared to the sale of tickets. So I'm saying that P is my Y value and tickets is my X value because the profit is going to depend on how many tickets I sold. So we're going to see that P equals, it's going to be 5 as my slope times x, subtract 300. Now let's look at some of the reason for this. My income is going to be $5 for every person that comes in. So 5 times x for the number of tickets sold. Then I have to subtract 300 because the DJ costs $300. So that's going to be subtracted from my overall profit. Part B then says that 123 people bought tickets. What was the profit? So we're going to start by plugging in 123 for x to calculate the profit. So when we plug that in, we get 5 times 123, which is $615. But then we have to subtract the cost of the DJ, which is $300. So the profit would have been $315 if 123 people attended the dance. Part C now is saying the opposite. It's giving us the profit is $350 and we want to know how many tickets were bought. So this time I'm looking for the tickets and I'm given the profit. So we're going to plug in $350 for P. So when we do this, we're going to have to start by adding the 300 to the other side and then dividing out the 5. When we add on the 300, we get 650 and that's going to equal 5x. So then again, we divide out that 5. To end up with an x value of 130 people. So 130 people bought tickets, so they made $350. Now I'd like you to try the next one. It's very similar. We're talking about joining a gym. There's a startup fee of $99 and then a monthly fee of $29 after that. So let's write an equation for the cost compared to the months that they were at the gym. Then we're going to decide if they went for 23 months, what was the cost? And could the total cost be exactly $600 ever? So go ahead, pause the video, and take a few minutes to try this. Now once you've done your calculations, you should find that the equation was y equals 29x plus 99, or if you're using c and n for the variables, it would be c equals 29n plus 99. Now for the next part, you'd have to plug in 23 for n because 23 is representing the months. So when you plug in 23 for n, it'll be 29 times 23 and then plus the 99. So you should have got $766. Now for the last part, to see if it's ever 600, we're going to have to plug in 600 for your cost. So plug 600 in for c. When you do that and solve for n, remember you'd have to subtract the 99 and then divide by the 29. You should get that n equals 17.27 and it continues. So what do you think? Could the total be exactly 600 ever? The answer to that is no. Since you wouldn't pay for 17.27 months, you'd either pay for 17 months or 18 months, meaning you wouldn't exactly hit a $600 cost. We're then going to work on the assignment questions. Now in your notes, I just said do 8, 12, and 14. So you can disregard this. It's 8, 12, and 14 as it says in your note booklet. Good luck.